Greetings, everyone, my YouTube family. This is Pastor Damon Fulton of Soul Redeeming Ministries. Today is October 26, 2012. I have two subject matters that I'd like to talk about for a brief moment with you, and they are being desensitized and moving in one direction. Beloved, we are losing our individualism and we aren't even aware that it's happening. Allow me to read something from the scripture to you to allow you to know that this would happen indeed. From the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 13 verse 16 said, "And he caused all, or he forced all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell except him that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of the beast." So what it's saying here is when this takes place, currency as we know it will not hold its value as it once did. Whether you are rich or whether you are poor, the only way that you'll be able to buy grocery, buy clothing, go to the hospital, survive in this world is no longer by green cash, but rather by receiving a mark in your right hand or in your forehead. And we see this being played out even right now, as we see we've moved from green cash to credit cards to now we've even had implants in animals, and it's surely to come to human beings as well. But what I want to highlight today, as I mentioned on the offset of this setting, is that there are two things that we should be very familiar with that are happening now. This world is being desensitized. In other words, we are no longer sensitive to the things that we were once sensitive to. And we are all moving in one direction, knowingly or unknowingly. It is happening. All right, let me highlight a few things to show you what I'm talking about. Do you remember when we had cameras? No one really holds a camera now. We take our cell phones out and we take pictures, and we no longer depend on cameras. Books, we no longer hardly ever read books. We have the Kindle. We used to write letters to one another. Now we email each other. All this information is going into one database. We're unaware of what is taking place, and everyone's doing it. Privacy. We once had privacy. Now we don't know when we're being recorded by cell phones. Searching for people. We once searched for people. Now we have search or findpeople.com, or we have Facebook. Back in the day, some people would hire investigators. No longer do you need to do that. We have Google Map, or I can actually locate you by putting using the GPS system on my phone to track down where you are. Okay, these things are taking place right now. We at one point we only talked on our phone. Now it's a big thing to see the individual that you're talking to on your phone. This is major. Everyone wants it. Everyone's being desensitized. Everyone's moving in one direction. And this is the plan of the enemy as he forces all. Now, a force does not mean a physical force. It could be manipulation, or it could be process of elimination. If you don't have one thing, you have to get the other thing. Some people may still love their VHS tapes, but you know what? We're moving in one direction. We're getting rid of the VHS tapes and we're getting the DVDs. You no longer have a choice. Some people may even want a pager. You don't have that choice no more. We're moving in one direction and we're unaware. We're not talking about it, so we don't see it happening. We're being desensitized. So no longer do you have a pager. You have to have a cell phone. I remember back in the day, I wrote my wife's, who was my girl at the time. I wrote her phone number down on paper. I used a pen and paper to write her number down, and I remembered it by heart. Nowadays, these cell phones have become life to individuals. Some people could be headed to work. They will stop the car, turn right back around, and go get their cell phone because their whole life is in this cell phone. If their phone were to die or got stolen, or anything else happened to their cell phone, Honestly, I have a question for you. Could you reach your loved ones? Do you know your husband's phone number by heart? Your wife's? Your children? Do you know their phone numbers by heart? No. We're dependent upon the system, and we are all moving in one direction. I can't emphasize this enough. Um, some subtle things that have transpired that we're unaware of. Do you remember back in the day when individuals were put on the back of a milk carton? No longer is that the case. They are on the internet for the World Wide Web to see. For everything that has happened, there's a natural side and there's a spiritual. It's very beneficial for those that have been kidnapped or whatever the case may be, that now we can access the web and we can do things to track people down. But the spiritual part about it is everyone's going into this one database because Satan is not omnipresent. He's not everywhere at the same time. He's not all knowing like God. He's not all powerful, although he does have a realm of power. So because he is not these things that are listed that God are, he has systems working to gain this database. How could he force all unless he know where all were? Okay. Um, Banking. We once went in, shook the teller's hand, greeted them, got a chance to know them. We went in, we paid our gas and electric bills, whatever the case may be. But now we shop for our groceries online. We shop for our clothing online. Um, our banking, we keep track of our withdrawals and deposits and our checking accounts, things of that nature. Everything's online. And if you don't get these things, you're mocked. If you don't have a cell phone, you're looked at as less than. See, everyone has become a robot almost because we're moving in one direction. Last, I'll leave you with a couple things. Do you remember, now I'm dating myself, years ago, the internet was not accessible as it is right now. We They would mail a disc in the mail. We got 50 free hours of the internet by this disc when we would boot it up. Okay, I think it was America Online or something like that. But this used to actually come in the mail. We don't talk about these things, so we're unaware of the direction we're moving. We realize that we can get on the internet for 24 hours a day now. All right, and we don't think anything of it. Now, I have something else. The reason I gave you the date today is I want to show you the DNC, the Democrat and Chronicle in Rochester, New York, where I am. This is one of our news. Well, this is our newspaper. Okay, I believe that we are even going to go from having newspapers delivered to homes to this information being on the web. I really believe that because we're going to a cashless society, we're going to a paperless society. This will in return cause individuals to perhaps lose their jobs. We're all moving in one direction. Okay? Become aware, accept Jesus as Lord, escape this world in the spirit realm first, because we can't stop some of the things that are going to transpire in this natural world. This has been Pastor Damon Fulton of Soul Redeeming Ministries. I thank you for viewing our site, and I pray that this lesson has blessed you. God bless.